I'm James Whittington-Phillips, and this is week 1 of the October Reflective Logs. So, this week, after having to be away for personal reasons, I got straight back into working on the play, and luckily I hadn't missed that much, as we hadn't got around to getting to my scenes as of yet. But this week was a lot about basically just continuing to get to know my character, as well as explore how he moves. And what I decided on for my character this week was to sort of make him move differently to the other characters, being a more rigid and regimented character, as Tithoebius is a soldier. So I used a movement style reminiscent of Suzuki training, using my prior knowledge of militaristic movement and sort of Suzuki training, and so we looked at basically how Tithoebius moves, and really the way my character would move is quite robotic, having sharp movements rather than flowing movements, more robotic. So it's more grainy and jagged movements than the smooth spiritualistic style movements of, say, the Trojan women. So the idea of that is to make my character contrast from theirs, showing that I'm of a different background, sort of coming from the Greeks instead of Trojans, and it showing my devotion to duty, especially as this is the beginning of the play. Also, this week it was a lot about reviewing my intentions as a character, especially in the first scene that I was doing, because not only do we have to figure out the movement for the scene, it's also there is an intention there, and for the first scene, it's like my character really. This is the first time we see him, and he basically this is him coming to take the first one of the Trojan women away, which is Cassandra. And it's basically, this is the first time we see my character is like, so the way I kind of wanted to portray him is sort of all full of himself, a bit full of himself, and sort of like he's the main authority here at this point in the play. It's like he's shown up. It's what I say goes now, and he really shouldn't get in my way in that sort of sense. Another thing this week is, for the first scene, we had to figure out how characters react to each other in the scene, which is a fair bit of independent rehearsal, just looking at how each of the characters react to one another, especially like how we go into, just like, so from the moment I walk in, it's like the idea is the women are scared of me because I'm the one taking them to their new fate, as it were. And also this character allows me to experiment with this sort of movement, especially with the way I've started with it. It sort of naturally comes to a bit of a posh accent. I don't know whether that works. We'll see as the play goes along, and we start to develop it, sort of. So this is our first sort of block. So we blocked sort of our first scene this week, and we've made it work. So it's also so now it's sort of refining the scene, learning the character, getting off script for basically this scene by the end of next week, I think. So I think what went well this week was the fact that we got a lot produced in terms of getting my first scene done, as well as which sort of rounds us off to our first overall target of getting up to page 57 done, off script and ready to go, so that we can move on and then come back later on when we come to refine it and look at how really what needs to be done now is just independent rehearsal. Even better if this week I could. It would be even better if I could get a bit more independent rehearsal in, but when. But yeah, there are things that do stop me from being there. I need to try and find other time to do independent rehearsal, not just in our open access sessions. But overall, it's been a pretty good week and a pretty productive week. So, there's the end of week 1.